Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Monday morning, bright and early over here in Los Angeles, California. And never too early for a little Nick drama. So Nick didn't even do anything right now. We've got Jordan Kimble, goes on a rant, says stop taking dating advice from Nick Viall. Viall? And anyway, this is all coming, after Nick's been featured in the New York Times. He's going to be promoting his new book coming out, and people are taking shots at him. I got that, and I got another story here that says, who told Nick he's qualified to give relationship advice for a living? I'm so tired. Now, you might think you know what my opinion on these types of situation is, and you'd be probably wrong. So, of course, we criticize Nick for his take on the Katie sort of like blocking him mess where his girlfriend Natalie Joy and him had recapped that whole scenario, and I think got it dead wrong. That's a whole different story for a different day. When it comes to this story here, should Nick Viall be offering dating advice? I live in that free market world where I say if you're offering advice that's not being actively harmful to others, then absolutely. You know what I mean? He's trying to give people advice from experiences and lessons he's learned. And if you don't like the advice, give your own advice. That's where I stand on the matter, just to give away my cards at the beginning here. I'm in complete appreciation of the free market where people can do what they want with their platforms. Of course, if, hopefully trying, their best to not cast a large wake and harm others. You might say, well, he's harming others based on X, Y, and Z. We'll get into this story. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals. I'm on Patreon at patreon.com/Dave Neal. I'll be going live on Patreon this morning. And of course, we'll have live streams for the public today, before and after tonight's episode of The Bachelorettes. The season's over, half done now. Can you believe how fast it's going? All right, I'm getting a little loose and limber. This is the first time I've been speaking up and talking this morning, but I did want to share a few things with you guys. Probably take about 2 minutes before I get into this story if you don't have the attention span to make it through. I got this. So we've been supporting teachers' Amazon wish list. We've basically not fully, but helped fund several different teachers' classrooms so far. If you guys aren't familiar with this, in the United States, a lot of teachers only get paid like $200 a year for their budget for supplies for their classroom. Some don't get paid anything. They got to take it out of their own pocket. They got to finance. It's really a wretched system. But thanks to you guys, you're helping provide the packages that people need. Nicole said, hello, Dave. I'm loud, fun-loving, outgoing, kind of sassy girl from New York. I always have something to say, but I'm speechless and humbled by the kind, generous donations I have received from your fans. Here are pics from day one. I still have more boxes coming in. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. So you guys have been enjoying giving back to these teachers, and it probably helps that you're seeing active results literally by the day. The second people give, it's sent and donated. The Amazon wish list go directly to the teachers in need. And let me tell you something, guys. I've got a list of people right now that are asking for help. So every single day this week, we're going to be featuring a different teacher. I'm getting DMs nonstop. Hey, Dave, just started to follow on Instagram, but I've been a long-time follower of Facebook and subscriber to YouTube. I've been hearing of the community helping teachers with their classroom lists. I would love if I could get some help with some of the items left on my list. I'm an 8th grade math teacher in a low-income district. This summer I attended some professional development classes where I learned so many strategies to help more of my students succeed. Now, listen, I think we need less wars and more sort of investing in the youth that's out there. I don't think we do a good job with our education system. Feel how you want about it. We can't, necessarily affect all the change on the political level right now, but what we can do is keep on sharing those in our community. So is it too much to ask for, plastic desk letter organizers? So some of these items are $10, $5, $9, $1. If there's even if you could just donate a $1 item here, when someone has bought it and she no longer needs it, it won't show up. So it's just like a registry. And when you add it to the cart, it'll go right to her address. And anyway, I feel like that's the best we can do. So let me know. There'll be a link in the description. Every single day this week, we're going to feature a different teacher. And also, I've got a brand new episode of my vlog up on the vlog channel, Basset Hound Beach Day. Here it is. I took my fiance and my dog to the Basset Hound Beach Day. Let me tell you something. It's wild what's going on out there in the Basset Hound Beach world. But if you want to check that out, it's on Dave Neal Vlogs. You can see literally hundreds of basset. You might just be having a rough day and you need to check out some dogs, hundreds of Basset Hounds, including a giant overweight. This was the biggest dog I've ever seen. Look at this First of all, that's not healthy. Don't do that to your dog. Okay, anyway, go check all that out. Let's get into the story, all right? Did I do that in 2 minutes? Here's Jordan throwing shade at Nick Viall.
One more thing. End of rant. I've actually got a weed eat right after this. But I would not go taking advice continually from Mr. Nick Viall is never going to make it down the aisle. Dude's never going to make it down the aisle. Stop taking dating advice from him. Peter Pan has never had a better example of who to follow. So
now I guess the question becomes this. If you never go down the aisle, are you still allowed to give dating advice? It's not giving advice on how to get married, but so my defense for Nick would be, look, all right, and by the way, Jordan can blast Nick all he wants. I don't know what kind of beef they have. I'm sure Nick's been critical of him. Maybe that's what it is. Not too sure, but I don't know. Calling him Peter Pan syndrome, maybe, or maybe he's learned from the different people he's dated and moved on. Here's a snippet of Nick's advice. Been arguing a lot, how to chill out. Here's how I try to approach disagreements in relationships. I try not to see it as a fight. When you fight, you want to win. Instead, I see it as conflict. You want to resolve conflict. Winning seems less relevant. This mindset helps me empathize more when I'm in conflict. Also, vacations can definitely help. Seems like okay advice to me. It seems like okay advice to me. Now, I know, some people say, well, a broken clock is right twice a day. Okay. Well, we'll get into that. So this op-ed, Substack is what, like the, like a membership newsletter you can sign up for. So this was op-ed by Scrolling with Sophie. And when you're someone with a niche following, the Joe Rogan effect, obviously much bigger than a niche following. When you have a big audience, then journalists, news reporters, they can sort of surf on your wave. They can make content based on you, either pro or against. This is just how it works with the whole Google and search items. So for Nick, he's got a pretty loyal niche audience. Whether you like him or don't like him, he's going to get clicks. So this person wrote an article, who told Nick Viall he's qualified to give relationship advice for a living? My quick response to this rhetorical question would be, who are we to tell other people how to make money for a living? You know what I mean? If you know me, you know that I loathe Nick, 4-time star of the Bachelor cinematic universe, more than almost anyone on the planet. I know that might sound dramatic. You might be asking, what did this 41-year-old man-child who inexplicably got roughly 76 tattoos at the same time do to you? Let me explain. Generally, I take issue with plenty of people on the internet who claim to be dating experts, doling out presumptuous, half-baked, and uneducated advice to the masses. I'm not saying you have to be in a healthy, committed, long-term relationship in order to be an authority on the matter, but when your dating life is a constantly chaotic spectacle akin to a car crash, I'm wont to believe you're in no place to be telling impressionable young people how to be successful in an already tenuous dating climate. It makes sense why most of the advice is downright laughable. Now, I'm not here to correct their spelling, but this person says, I'm wont to believe. Now, I'm not great with my English. My English ain't good. And so I Googled I'm wont to believe to see if that's some sort of phrase I don't know. And all I got was I want to believe, the X-Files. So I don't know if I'm wont to believe or I want. Either way, the truth is out there and we're going to get down to it. Leave a comment, my English teacher's there. Maybe we can put getting a dictionary for me on the old Amazon wish list. All right, so this person's definitely got a solid opinion and it's pretty aggressive. This person's got beef with Nick. So anyway, they find his dating advice laughable. For instance, and this isn't exclusive to Nick, the advice, if he wanted to, he would, has always rubbed me the wrong way. I've talked about this at length on Twitter. My appearance on the podcast we met at Acme and elsewhere back when I was single and stressing over New York City F-boys, as one does, I asked my therapist about this phrase. She immediately denounced it and explained why it's a toxic way of thinking. How many times have you done something you didn't want to do or didn't do something you wanted to do? When you say if he wanted to, he would, you're assuming the man in question is in a very particular headspace, one in which he can easily make clear-headed, decisive choices and actions. And she's right. We never expect this sort of decisiveness from ourselves, just from our love interest. Why do we always put them, i.e. men, typically on a pedestal, assuming they'll always make the right decision? In reality, have no idea what's going on in their heads, and it could be the same anxieties and insecurities you're going through. How does this relate to Nick? It's almost like I missed a paragraph. Did I miss something here? I don't even know what... I guess she said this isn't exclusive to Nick. So she doesn't like people that give dating advice. Now, I read people's comments on what they think of the different issues, and there was the book He's Just Not That Into You, which I actually got to meet the author, very nice guy. Shout out to the book there. now turned into a movie. But some people commented, this book's so wrong. It's misogynist. It's this and that. And other people said, I love the book. It told me maybe he's just not that into you. You know, like, so people come at, you know, how they take advice in so many different ways. You might get really good advice from a Wayne Dyer type or an Oprah type or Marianne Williamson, or you might get really good advice from another less spiritual guru or someone who's more practical. We're all just using the tools that are provided to us and trying our best with the situations that present themselves. If Nick offers decent advice for some people, who are we to tell people not to follow him on Instagram? I mean, he's giving his advice away for free. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's where I stand. She said, I used to take that advice and internalize it. I'd let it feed my self-loathing. Okay, we already read that. Back to Nick. Back to Nick. Back to reality. Okay, back to Nick. I find him generally infuriating. His attitude pompous, his advice useless, and his podcast unlistenable. All right, unfollow him. This TikTok from a few months back, however, sent me over the edge. The way I loathe this condescending, misogynistic loser, says Sophie Ross. All right, let's watch. And by the way, Sophie's got every right in the world to criticize him and make her own content about it. So I'm not saying Sophie can't be making this Substack article. I'm just saying, so far I haven't seen any illegal business practices by him.
All right, volume 2 of It Doesn't Frickin' Matter. They're still not your boyfriend. They introduce you to their friends, also known as they invited you to a party their friends are at. Congratulations, you're a cool hang. You take a trip together. Few things make traveling more enjoyable than someone to have sex with. They share a toothbrush with you. That just means he's lazy, not in love. Also, ew. He went to the farmer's market with you. Listen, it's just the farmer's market. It's not couples counseling. Finally, they go shopping with you and let you pick them out clothes. Now they can look hot on their dates that aren't with you.
All right, there you go. So, having sex with people on vacation's fun. Okay, yeah, all right, sure. Again, it's a quick unfollow. Okay, but by all means, Sophie, I'm making a video about you making a article about him, about you making, So I understand that I'm, but I'm also saying, hey, let the free market go. Like, let him make his content. If people don't want to buy his book, they're not going to buy his book. He's essentially insinuating that every woman is a dumb, helpless idiot for thinking a man's. All right, I don't know if that's what he's insinuating, but whenever someone says he's essentially insinuating, you're probably going to conflate it and project what's actually being done here. That's like whenever anyone leaves a comment, goes, Dave's basically, okay, here we go. Dave's basically X, Y, and Z. Tell me what I basically am. Leave a comment. Dave's basically, and then just surprise me. But please, try not to be mean. Now he's writing a book of dating advice entitled Don't Text Your Ex Happy Birthday. In a recent New York Times interview, essentially a paid-for PR puff piece written by someone that may or may not also despise him. It's referred to as a modern-day version of the famously misogynistic He's Just Not That Into You. I would have been perfectly fine leaving that book and the 41% of Rotten Tomatoes movie it spawned in the early aughts. Wow, you threw some Rotten Tomato shade. But by the way, did you watch Prey on Hulu? It's so good. It's got like a 98% Rotten Tomato. My fiance hates scary movies, and she loved that movie. And they cast an all-indigenous cast. What did we do to deserve this? In the same interview, Nick says he's been compared to Ryan Reynolds many, many times. Sure, Jan, and even shit talks Kelly Ripa by saying, last time I was on live with Kelly, she was just pretty harsh. She wasn't like terrible. She just wasn't as warm as she would be, say, with Ryan Reynolds. Well, of course, you're not getting the Ryan Reynolds treatment, Nick. And what's also funny is that Nick isn't one to talk at all. Why is he writing a dating advice book? Why does he make dating advice TikToks? Why does he host a dating advice podcast? The point is, there's not a single person on earth less qualified than him to give dating advice. And although he may have a serious, successful relationship now, it's with someone 18 years his junior, 23-year-old Insta model named Natalie Joy. By the way, Natalie's got a full-time job, so let's not shame. I mean, I'm not saying this person's shaming her for being an Insta model, but it's got that tone. He's only dating an Insta model. Even if she were only an Insta model, that's part of her income. That's what she's doing. I don't think writing an article is any better or worse than someone who would be an Insta model. That's where I stand on that. It seems kind of shamey to me. It seems kind of like because Natalie's young and beautiful, we can use that against him. Look, there's an age gap in their relationship by all means, but they're both two consensual adults there. So to that, I just think this article is a little icky there. Hey, you can have those opinions. You absolutely. Oh, Dave's defending Nick. Oh, Dave hates Nick. Which one is it, guys? Which one is it? I'm going after the principal, not the person here. Here's a brief breakdown of his stints on the Bachelor franchise. So, of course, Nick's had some problematic things, like anyone who's been on the show has, where he said things he regrets and he's moved forward. Not a great track record. Why are we listening to him? Actually, not we, because I know that doesn't include myself, but clearly people are listening to him, and who the hell are these people? It was also revealed that after Chris Harrison's termination from his longtime post as Bachelor host and before Jesse Palmer was named his successor, Nick pitched himself to fill the role. It was revealed because Nick offered that information in his New York Times article, which is fine. People were like, oh, Nick Viall pitched himself? Yeah. Have you never sent a resume for a job before? You know what I mean? I find this kind of foolish. But then again, respectfully, Sophie Ross can write this, and I'm sure she's a good person. I'm sure she's a good journalist. And again, don't get me wrong. Obviously, this is opinion. So she's absolutely entitled to share her opinion. Obviously, he didn't get the gig, and from everything I've gathered, Palmer appears to be doing a stellar job. Nick and his girlfriend Natalie continue to frolic around Coachella and other influencer events, antagonize other people in Bachelor Nation like ex-Bachelorette Katie Thurston. Agree with you there. I feel like they did a poor job with that story. I feel like they lost in the grand scheme of things, the public opinion, and generally be as unlikable and pretentious as possible. I used to sell software. Ha ha ha. He captioned a reel of himself and his child bride Natalie at an Oscars after party earlier this year. Woof to this article. I wish you could go back to software sales, Nick, because you're really, really terrible at whatever it is you claim to be doing. Well, you objectively have to disagree. Nick has bought a home in a nice part of Los Angeles. I'm guessing the home's worth $1.5 million. Has to be. I know, I'm looking at homes all the time. Trust me, his home's got to be a 1.5, 1.75 million. By the way, watch Selling Sunset if you want to see what prices are like in LA. Because I mentioned this last time, saying, no, Nick's actually very successful in the Bachelor world. And someone said, it doesn't take much success to buy a home. Listen, Jan, I don't know if you bought a home in the 60s for like a couple of rubles, but yeah, it takes a lot of money, and you have to, it takes a lot to buy a home in the only Mediterranean climate outside of the Mediterranean Sea, Southern California. How I saw that, if you thought I wasn't, okay, so then it goes into something completely different. I wish you would go back to software sales, she says. Look, okay, hey, all right, fine, absolutely, pile it on. Okay, but I just think it's fair to call it out and say, Nick's been really successful doing what he's doing. He's not grifting in the sense that he's not selling snake oil, supplements, things he doesn't believe in. He's just giving advice. And advice is given, and it's up to the consumer to take or leave. Take it or leave it. That's it, right? So now we can't be, now are we going to live in a world where people can't give advice? Whatever. I don't know, guys. If you want to join my content, let me tell you something. This set was rated R. This is a rated R set. This is the only clip from my show last night that I can share with you guys.
Photos of her friends,
All right, so that's all I can share with you guys. There's a lot of swear words. I'm going to post that on Patreon. Do me a favor. Our audience is all over the map. Some people get really offended by swear words. If you don't like swear words or something that's rated R, or people that say, the F word or other, words like that, then don't comment on my videos saying, "Oh, Dave, I don't like it when you swear." Don't do that. I don't like that. I've got a mom that I love, and I've already got one person who can criticize me. I don't need that. Watch it or not, okay? Just like Nick, consume it or don't consume it. But that will be available on Patreon. The show actually took place outside because the air conditioners broke at the comedy venue. But shout out to Teresa for coming out to the show last night. Much appreciate you. How great she is. And for everyone else, that set will be live on Patreon if you want to check it out. And we'll have more content coming your way. Hey, leave a comment. I respect your opinions, even if they disagree from mine. But I say, hey, people can do whatever they want online as long as it's not damaging others, right? All right. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.